ありがとうございます。
Welcome to the Raktab Dome in Osaka, Japan for the fourth stop of the International Skating Union's Senior Grand Prix Series. I'm Mark Henretti and delighted to be joining you for this weekend of amazing skating in a very, very exciting year as we head towards the Milano Cortina Olympics. We have already seen one event underway. The ice dance rhythm dance complete. Lila Fear and Lewis Gibson from Great Britain lead the field ahead of Charlene Guinard and Marco Fabri. As we look now towards the pairs short program, you can see an abundant number of fans excited to see that, and then also the men's and women's disciplines, which will conclude this first day of competition in Osaka. The Raktab Dome has hosted this prestigious event on previous occasions, and also the location for the Japanese National Championships last year, and the Japanese skating community so educated and knowledgeable, and we find ourselves at the second half of the ISU Grand Prix Series this year in a nation that is arguably the greatest lovers of our sport, with such a rich heritage and history of amazing skating.
We will now start the competition for pairs short program.
And their confirmation of the 8 teams competing in this event. Starting order based on world ranking and world standing. Also based on results competitively in events over the last couple of seasons. And that's the reason that Sui and Han, the Olympic champions, find themselves opening the event, due to the fact that they haven't competed until this season throughout this Olympic cycle. Here the referee, the judges, and shortly on screen we will see the technical controller and technical specialists, including Mariusz Swidek. He himself, a former European medalist from Poland, alongside his wife Dorota Zagorska-Swidek.
Are you ready? And let's welcome our
the levels and calls of the elements within this pair short program. Wenjing Sui and Song Han from China. Amazing to see them back in the competitive arena, the Olympic champions returning to competition this season. And then to Yuna Nagaoka and Moriguchi, the silver medalists from the Japanese National Championships, who just recently secured their spot at the Olympic Winter Games. And then to the American team of Emily Chan and Spencer Akira Howe.
From bronze, Kovalev and Pavlova.
And then to the fourth and final team in this opening group, the husband and wife, Camille and Pavel Kovalev.
Start your 6 minutes warm-up.
At the NHK Trophy here in Osaka 2025, this competition will be fiercely contested. I gather that 4 of the 8 teams competing here have season's best scores within 1.03 points of one another. So it is an incredibly closely contested event, and thus the skaters perhaps sensing and feeling more pressure than ever. There will be, of course, pressure and expectation on this couple on screen now, Sui and Han, the Olympic champions. Sui managing to convince Song Han to join her back in the competitive arena. He had retired in 2023 due to injury, then went on to become a teacher at Tsinghua University. She extensively studying dance at the Beijing Dance Academy. Lives have gone on in different trajectories, but now seemingly a sense of responsibility to continue to represent China and support the Chinese pair skating dynasty. They are back. From one very established pair skating dynasty to an emerging skating nation in pairs, Yuna Nagaoka and Sumitada Moriguchi creating history by facilitating for the Japanese Skating Federation the first time that two Japanese pairs have qualified for the Olympics, and they achieved that at the Skate to Milano figure skating qualifier in Beijing 2 months ago. This team, some of the greatest speed and ice coverage of all the teams. They vie for medals at the Grand Prix Series. Then to the Americans, Emily Chan and Spencer Akira Howe. Spencer recently was selected for the US Army World Class Athlete Program, now a private, studying to become a military chaplain.
2022 and 2023. This season they won bronze at the Challenger Series in Georgia.
With the support of the US World Class Athlete Program here with Emily.
Emily Chan and Spencer
Doing all
Akira
they can, not just to successfully represent themselves at the NHK Trophy, potentially to put up big scores that have them in contention for one of the two spots America has for the Olympic Games. And talking of Olympic qualification, Camille Kovalev and Pavel Kovalev are the alternate team for the Olympic Games.
The four-time consecutive
Distinctly
French
possible that they will get the
This
call up
season
to
they
compete
play safe
and represent
at
France
Grand Prix Series
and
in
become
France.
Olympians.
Representing
They were
France, Camille Kovalev.
fourth
and
at the Skate
Pavel
to Milano
Kovalev.
Olympic qualifier. But it was their short program that was their strength there. They were second at the event with their short program and indeed achieved their ISU personal best when they competed in Beijing in the short program. Hoping to build on that. 64 points that they achieved there. So no Miura and Kihara, Japanese world champions in pairs at this event, but they, I'm sure, will be interested to see how things unfold. Every year the Senior Grand Prix is exciting. Every year the skating community excitedly awaits the results and the performances of the skaters. It does just seem so much more gripping and intense in these final few months and weeks towards the Olympic Games. Camera just cuts away there from the Olympic champion warming up her side-by-side jump. And it will be the side-by-side jumping pass and the throw jump which likely will represent the greatest risk for the pair skaters. Yuna Nagaoka on screen there, just warming up the takeoff for her triple loop. She and partner Sumitada Moriguchi, the most difficult and highest value side-by-side jumping pass. Most of the teams will be working on triple toe loops, side-by-side.
There's 1 minute
Side-by-side
left in
triple
the
loops. A group 5 lift, the necessary lift takeoff for the senior pair teams in the short program this season. Really important that during the lifting process, one of the man's hands must remain clearly above his shoulders. It's been debated a little upon performances of the Olympic champions in their first Grand Prix at the Cup of China. Technical panel, I'm sure, will be scrutinising the criteria achieved by the teams on the Group 5 lift, the lasso lift.
練習時間終了です。選手の皆さんはリンクサイドにお上がりください。
The warm-up is over. Skaters, please leave the ice. Thank you.
Well, skating royalty, really, rinkside and on the ice now. Hongbo Zhao, former Olympic champion himself, stands by the boards ready to support his team, the reigning Olympic champions.
On the ice, representing China, Sui and Han.
So we saw them at the Cup of China. They were bronze medalists there. They have not had long, though, to build upon that performance as Sui and Han get ready to compete in their second Grand Prix this season en route back to their best form. Wonderful start. Excellent timing on the triple toe loops. Comfortable through the triple twist. Just looks so much more secure already. Throw triple flip. This is important. Group 5 lift must be above his head. Take off. A wonderful way in which to open the pair shot program at the NHK Trophy. Sui and Han definitely back. It was hard to predict what improvements could be made in the limited time since we saw them compete at the Cup of China. So many skating fans around the world just delighted to see them back. They maybe haven't quite perfected their bowing to the audience yet, but certainly this performance a display of a massive, marked difference since the Cup of China already. And when they competed in Chongqing, they did explain that their free skate was only their 4th ever run through of that performance, indicating that they really have not had huge amounts of preparation time to compete here. This, perhaps now, changing the discussion about whether or not it's just good to see them back, as opposed to will they contend again and put themselves back in the mix for medals as they did so triumphantly in Beijing in 2022. Triple toe loops, great timing. Now we've very effortless split triple twist at level 4. Weijing Sui just has such an amazing energy and command of the ice. The way in which she looked back at partner Song Han on the landing of that throw triple flip, just all the sass and energy perfectly fitting the music that they have chosen for this, their short program. Actually, the hand must be above his shoulder, not his head, and thus the Group 5 lift comfortably achieved on this occasion. Much to the relief of them and the skating fans, I'm sure. And that a performance that really does give us a glimpse back into what a special team they are. We've seen so many incredible performances from them over the years.
Sui Han 組の得点 74.63.
So it was a 72.45 a couple of weeks ago. 74.63 for Sui and Han. That certainly puts them back in contention for medals here. Potentially puts them back in contention for title.
2番 Nagaoka and Moriguchi.
Well, fascinatingly, the next team from Japan had expressed how happy they were to be in an event with the Olympic champions Sui and Han. One of their primary objectives for this competition was to be able to learn and absorb some of the brilliance of the first team that took to the ice. However, Yuna Nagaoka and Sumitada Moriguchi have some of their own brilliance. As I mentioned during the warm-up, the most difficult and highest quality side-by-side jumping passes in the field. Solid start. Triple twist. This is crucial. Triple loops planned. Triple loops executed.
Oh, I finally decided my future lies beyond the yellow brick road.
Well, I think it's a wonderful skate for the Japanese team with the throw triple salto. Wonderful ice coverage as we are accustomed to seeing from this team within the lift. What a wonderful skate for Yuna Nagaoka and Sumitada Moriguchi from Japan. A performance in a program that they used last season. And brilliant to bring it back. And I remember when I saw them training in Beijing at the Skates to Milano event, being so blown away by their speed and their ice coverage, and their performances there, although successful in achieving the Olympic berth, they were not reflective of what was in practice. This, a performance in a skate that I think showcases that this is a team that could really surprise many in terms of results. As I said, and keep referencing, their difficulty in the side-by-side jumping pass is greater than the others, but not just technically strong. Their program component scores have to be lofty by virtue of the speed that they possess. And indeed, I do believe that they covered the ice with significantly more speed than Sui and Han, the Olympic champions. They changed their coaching staff this season, looking for consistency with their technical elements to help them achieve the goals they have. Pretty clean catch there. And a level 3 on the triple twist. Need to just double check if there was a little gracing of the toe picks of the left foot on the landing of the triple salto, but nevertheless, the quality of movement coming out of it, gorgeous to see. And this, potentially one of their trademarks. The ice coverage that they showcase within the lifts. So impressive. For a team that largely comprises of relatively new skaters to the pairs discipline, Sumitada Moriguchi and Yuna Nagaoka, such good single skaters in their own right. He can indeed still land a triple axel as a single skater, and yet now, here and this season, they look established as a pair team. And their gorgeous smile between the two. And indeed, if you want something heartwarming to watch, find their reaction online to finding out that they had achieved an Olympic spot. Just amazing scenes.
The score is
66.27 at Kinoshita, 71.52 at the NHK Trophy, and absolutely deserved. Pivotal ISU personal best for this team. I think they really have pushed themselves into a different conversation in regards to their results this season.
on the ice, representing the United
And from the United States of America, 28-year-old Emily Chan and 29-year-old Spencer Akira Howe. This season, they've decided to bring back two of their favorite programs that they say light up their hearts, and they want to light up the audience with their energy and performance. They skate the Naya. Double toe loop from Emily. difficult entry into the throw triple loop. Just a two-footed landing though. Just struggling with the side-by-side spins. Fiercely passionate team with a program that does showcase their performance abilities, but so much harder to deliver with sincerity when you know that you have made mistakes. And Emily, a little measured in her response to the performance, knowing the implications of the doubled side-by-side jump. And yeah, former American junior singles skating champion, but confirmation that the prowess as a single skater doesn't necessarily guarantee ability to replicate that in the pairs partnership. So much more to factor into consideration when jumping alongside somebody else. Alexei Litov, the coach, there's so little to say really, because skaters of this level of experience as Emily and Spencer have know what's necessary. We look back at the level 4 on the split triple twist, and here different pattern to the entry across the ice to the other teams that we've seen. 2 rotations for Emily, and thus the team only will receive 1.3 points, and the left foot touching the ice on the landing of the throw forces the judges into a negative grade of execution. No such issues with the lift. In terms of presentation, you can see in the slow-mo the investment and engagement in the performance with an intensity that arguably greater in the male half of this partnership, which isn't as conventional. Both teams embracing the music that they've brought back. Both members of the team embracing the music that they have brought back for their short program this season.
Howe 組の得点 63.82 現在の順位は第3位です
So a nod of understanding for the 63.82 from Spencer, as Emily and he slot into third of the 3 teams thus far.
4番カミーユ・コバレフパベル・コバレフ組フランス
On the ice, representing France.
And storytelling already underway for the husband and wife team. This short program this season, a different style for the team. They invested in their own choreography often as well, taking the emotional connection before the music as they perform to Évidemment. Transition and the exit with the triple twist lift. Shame. Oh no, oh, I think she dislocated her shoulder. No. Yeah. Kovalev, I'm pretty sure the shoulder's out. She needs to be just a bit careful now. Bruno, Master Olympic champion, looks on. This is a horrible scene to witness. All her thoughts go out. She potentially needs to have that relocated. But I think that could be the end of the participation here for the French team. Just see, obviously taking the fall, right hand went down, slipped out, and the shoulder likely to be dislocated. They can potentially relocate, but all the surrounding muscles will be impacted. Bruno Masso explaining that Pavel needs to check in with the referee. And in this instance, the referee needs to follow the protocol necessary to make sure that procedures are followed. But of course, ultimately, everybody just wants the very best for her health. Just explaining the situation there. ISU event manager Yulia in the back of shot as well. And of course, this a difficult time whereby everybody's conscious of what needs to happen to progress the event. But this a 30-year-old French woman who just needs to be looked after more than anything right now. And a husband who just really needs to get back to see her. Difficult for Pavel. Of course, this is not the outcome that he wanted as a sportsman, but his wife needs him now. Of course, confirmation from the announcer there that Camille and Pavel unable to skate. So even in these slow-mo sections now, not their greatest element, the twist, tighter than the other teams, but as I said, during the live, the transition out was good in the oh, I don't know if we want to see this, but you're about to see. Yeah, that's popped out. Oh, horrible. Oh, wish we didn't have to relive this. Close your eyes if you don't want to be uncomfortable. Oh. That's going to be very, very painful for Camille. And now we send all our very best wishes. Sincerely hope that they will be back in time to compete at French Nationals, and hopefully as alternates for the Olympic Games, healthy and well to potentially take that spot. There is some debate as to whether or not one of the previously qualified teams will take that spot, and thus Camille and Pavel can step up and take their participation as Olympians in February. But right now, it's all about health. Well, that a very unfortunate way to conclude the first group in the pairs event. And you can see the impact that that has on the audience, who of course will be a little shell-shocked in how to approach that, not able to even extend their support to the skaters because, of course, Camille was escorted off the ice to medical assistance as quickly as is possible. And without being too callous though now, it's important for the next 8 skaters to stay focused in their preparation because there will be energy sucked out of the arena, and the backstage area will probably mean that the skaters that are about to take to the ice will be very mindful and aware of what has just happened. And the pairs discipline in our sport is notoriously risky and difficult, so there will be empathy from the skaters getting ready to compete for what they've just seen from Camille. Now, they must focus on their job in hand.
From the Netherlands, Danilova and Tsiba.
Choreographed introduction to the arena. First Dutch team in history to qualify a spot at the Olympic Games. Danilova and Tsiba.
Efimova and Mitrofanov.
And then to the American national champions, Efimova and Mitrofanov.
From Hungary, Pavlova and Sviatchenko.
Hungarian skaters Maria Pavlova and Sviatchenko.
From Italy, Conti and Macii.
And the highest ranked team, Conti and Macii.
Skaters, please start your 6 minutes warm-up.
So we have to assume that the skaters will be mindful of what has just happened in this arena. But fingers crossed, they're all so well trained, so well focused, that hasn't affected them. So we see the skaters just doing some warm-up stroking exercises. As I mentioned at the top of this pair short program, this event is hard to predict because so many of the team season's bests are within a fraction of points separated, and thus the potential for the likes of Danilova and Tsiba on screen to step up onto the podium is definitely a possibility. That said, harder to predict the form that Daria and Mikhail come into this event with. They were forced to withdraw from their free program at their Challenger Series event in Georgia because of injury. So hopefully that fully recovered behind them. So we see comfortable triple jumping from Mitrofanov. His wife, Efimova. Indeed, as we see Elisa on screen, we can understand the concept behind their free skate. They're doing a tribute to Gordeeva and Grinkov, the two-time Olympic gold medalists from Russia. Got some help from Ekaterina Gordeeva in the creation of that program alongside their choreographer Renee Roca, and Elisa looks increasingly like the great Gordeeva in her movement. As we see the first of the teams that are vying for contention and inclusion at the Grand Prix final, Maria Pavlova and Sviatchenko, third in France, and a third place and a bronze medal secures a team 11 points in the standings on the series. And thus, they'll be looking for potentially a silver medal could secure them a spot. But I'm sure they would be keen to be competitive alongside the next team of Conti and Macii, the silver medalists at the Cup of China. Not sure the exact mental perspective and preparation for Sara and Nicolo, because of course they will be wanting to secure a spot again at the Grand Prix final, something that they have
Last
achieved
season, they won bronze at the World
in
Championships.
every
And
Grand
this
Prix
season,
final
they
within
won
this
silver
Olympic
at the
cycle.
Grand Prix Series in China.
But maybe more than
Representing Italy,
just that, more than the
Conti
title,
and
more than
Macii.
another Grand Prix final berth, Sara and Nicolo potentially looking at scores that put them up in front-running contention. Miura Kihara, Haza Volodin. So many great teams. And now the return of Sui and Han throws their name into the mix for the Olympic medals. Nice to see there. An applause from Hungarian competitor to the Dutch team, and there does seem a real sense of respect in the pairs discipline. Such an incredibly physically and emotionally demanding discipline, and all 8 skaters on the ice will have the greatest empathy for one another. It really does demand a complete life devotion to the sport to be at this level. The volume of hours on the ice may not be abundant in terms of their weekly practice time. But I'm sure for the skaters on screen now, every waking moment is likely consumed with their preparation for the Olympic Games.
練習時間あと1
The
分です。
indulgent time in the
There is
ice,
1 minute
every
left
facet of
in the
their being
warm-up.
can be focused on their elite physical and mental preparation as Nicolo Macii just walks through the timing that he will deliver on the throw for partner Sara. Again, this fascinating insight just into the final technical preparations, the simulations of takeoffs. For the skaters now, it's not necessarily just about ensuring the technique is right, the technique is well honed, the technique is well established. It's making sure that they are calm enough and keeping their adrenaline levels enough at bay to maintain the timing that they use successfully in practice.
練習時間終了です。選手の皆さんはリンクサイドにお上がりください。
The warm-up is over. Skaters, please leave the ice. Thank you.
So 3 of the team's 6 skaters place their guards back on their blades to head backstage. Leaving the Raktab Dome Ice Arena ready for the first team in this final group in the pairs short program at the NHK Trophy 2025.
ダリア・ダニロワ、ミシェル・チバン組、オランダ。
On the ice,
23-year-old Daria Danilova and 27-year-old Mikhail Tsiba.
Tsiba.
5th here at the NHK Trophy last year. And Daria and Mikhail said that one of their goals at this event, and this season indeed, is to stop overthinking and skate the way they know that they can. The track, Take Back the Power, the music for their short program. Ball for Mikhail, step out for Daria. no triple flip planned. Another step out. Danilova and Tsiba representing the Netherlands, and I really respect and admire the delivery that they gave to the penultimate element, the step sequence, because Daria and Michael will have been frustrated and disappointed to have found a tech score that is not going to keep them competitive in this event, but they maintained composure to deliver for the components. And even now, in the way in which they are taking their bow, there seems an appreciation of being here. So many of the skaters always so grateful and appreciative of the participation in front of a Japanese audience who are so welcoming. And just not sure for Daria and Mikhail, because of the withdrawal at the Trialeti Trophy in Georgia with the injury, whether or not that's still impacting them. Dmitry Zavin and Fedor Klimov, the coaching staff again. And Yote Politsakis, choreographer for this, choreographer who they thank for giving them such fun in the creative process. As we look back now at the opening triple twist, so looking for a split before, clean catch, no assist. It's level 2 here, the side-by-side triple salchos. Actually, I think an under rotation for Mikhail as well as the fall, so not even the full value of the element. So very costly mistake, as to will be the case for the throw triple flip. No problems though with the group 5 lift. As I said, Daria and Mikhail, the first Dutch team in history to qualify a spot at the Olympic Games. So by February, they will have continued to make history in developing Dutch skating in the pairs discipline. I'm sure they carry that responsibility proudly. As their coach and choreographer join them.
The score, please.
You can see choreographer Yote just patting them on the back, knowing that the score that's going to come in for Daria and Mikhail won't be something they want to see. But
The score for Danilova
they understand. 56.74, the mandatory 1 point deduction for the fall,
in 4th place.
and acceptance of the 4th place.
アリサ・エフィモワ、ミーシャ・ミトロファノフ組、アメリカ。
On the ice, representing the United States of America,
And now
Alisa
to
Efimova and Misha
Alisa
Mitrofanov.
Efimova and Misha Mitrofanov from the United States of America. They were incredible at the World Championships in Boston. They were 4th in the free skate there, 6th overall. And now hoping to consolidate their position as one of the world's best pair teams, skating to cloak and dagger. Fall for Alisa on the side-by-side triple salchow. Gorgeous landing position with the landing of the throw triple loop. Very smiley character of Misha Mitrofanov, breaking character from the performance there to look to his wife Alisa Efimova at the end of that program. Some wonderful musicality, brilliant work of Rene Aroka, the choreographer. The influence of Rene on Alisa as well. Just such a beautiful neckline. She has a really stunning aesthetic in her movement style across the ice. But, as is so often the case for so many teams, there's the side-by-side jumping passes that are problematic and costly to the score. Technical panel have reviewed the triple salchows. Of course the fall happened, but there was a quarter rotation short as well, so further consequences on the score for the team. As we see Alexei here with them, responsible for both of the American pair teams. There's serious commitment to transitional content at the start of this program. Back outside 3 Mohawk entry, already a little far apart on takeoff. And you can see I think she's perhaps a little lucky to come away with just a Q mark on that triple salto. Didn't look comfortable in the warm-up either. However, she sticks the landing of the throw triple loop. And the group 5 lasso lift. Change your pose, rotation on one arm. So effortless looking from Misha. And their grade of execution on the lift. Their boost in score from grade of execution almost double that of the Chinese team Sui and Han, who lead the field thus far. See every extension, particularly from Elisa, clean, really committed, good use of the ankle in the boot. And here, wonderful confirmation of the synchronicity within the sit side variation. I like that. Perhaps a little premature in his breaking of character, but nice to see the connection.
The score, please.
Maybe it's a recurring theme that makes Sweetie kiss and cry as well. 67.42 at the Nebelhorn Trophy for Elisa and Misha. But it's a 69.21. Judges really going with their composition and their skating skills, showing progression in their second mark.
This is their season's best score, and they're currently in 3rd place.
And they, pivotally for them, the leading American team after the short program by a comfortable margin.
7番マリア・パブロワ・アレクセイ・スビアチェンコ組ハンガリー
On the ice, representing Hungary.
So, to the team that were 3rd at the Grand Prix de France, they've made the Grand Prix final previously with a bronze and a silver back in 2023 in their Grand Prix assignments. Looking to come away with more silverware here at the NHK Trophy as they skate to Michael Jackson's Earth Song.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fears? Is there a time? What about all things that you said was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the blood we shed before? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth as we make sure?
Musically praising the throw triple flip. Great speed, flow, and difficult turn content entry into the side-by-side triple toe loops. Really well done.
What have we done to the world? Look what we've done. What about all the peace that you pledged your only son? What about flowering fields? Is there a time? What about all the dreams that you said were
Great
yours
movement
and mine?
into the back inside death spiral
Did you
too.
ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? And did you ever stop to notice this crying earth as we make sure?
Well, Maria Pavlova and Alexei Sviatchenko achieved a personal best at the Grand Prix de France, the first stage of this season's ISU Grand Prix Series. And this performance, I think, will secure them yet again another new personal best. And the goal for this team this season was to showcase improvement in their program component scores, and they have undoubtedly done that. They, in previous years, have showcased a consistency with their technical elements that few of the pair teams have demonstrated as readily as they have, but they have very obviously and conscientiously worked upon their skating skills, presentation and composition, employing Luca Lanotti, the Italian former world champion ice dancer, for the choreography of this, their short program. And as is somewhat customary from the coaching staff that they have, a level 4 on the triple twist. And as I mentioned, the musical phrasing of their landing of the triple flip throw will encourage the judges to keep giving higher grade of execution. There was great ice coverage into the triple toes, great timing, great running edge on the landing as well. They just giving so many easy ways to visibly make sure the judges force a very comfortable positive grade of execution. Each element obviously mindfully approached in training to give the judges what they want in regards to positive GOE, and absolutely deserving of the high 10. So a 70.15, as I mentioned, is what they secured at the Grand Prix de France.
The score is
That would put them into third place. However, they're going to surpass that with a 73.04, so it goes in as an ISU personal best. In second place, not too far adrift from the reigning Olympic champions.
Season's best score, and they are currently in second place.
8番サラ・コンティ、ニッコロ・マチー組、イタリア。
On the ice,
To the final team
Italy,
in the pairs short
Conti
program.
and Macii.
Sara Conti and Niccolò Macii, two-time world medalists. They came out early, trained in Japan a little in advance of this event. Always wanted to show flamenco. Here they skate to the Wild Bull and Concerto de España. Little far apart, but successfully through the side-by-side salcos. Italy, Sara Conti and Niccolò Macii conclude the pairs short program at the NHK Trophy. A solid skate for this team, and to me, clearly the class of the field. So many Italian flags are waved in support of them. You can see a muted response to the skate from Sara and Niccolò because, well, just look back at the throw triple loop. It wasn't the absolutely optimal landing that they would have liked. Perhaps a little tight on the Salchows as well. But nevertheless, this team solidifying their position as contenders for an Olympic medal. And doing all they can to push the components this year, employing Matteo Zani, ice dance coach, as choreographer, and this vehicle for them is so perfect, as Barbara Leone, their longtime coach, does all she can to support them before they take to the ice. Look at the investment from them both, and if you ever get to see them in performance in the gala exhibition, you get an insight into the diverse range of expressive capabilities they have. Level 4 on the twist. Let's see, landing of the throw triple loop. Yes, the right hand did touch. And as we look at the pickup for the Group 5 lift, that indication of really where Sara and Niccolò are, you can see satisfied with the performance, but a hand down, they know is not what they want if they are to contend. I'm sure that as they head towards the Winter Olympic Games in their country, they want not to be considered as contenders for medals, but as a contender for the title, as we see that wonderful entry into the back inside death spiral. Slightly out of synchronicity and unison on the change combo spin, but still worthy of a high five. But great characters. And they really seem united. They had a little blip a couple of seasons ago, but now Sara and Niccolò,
The score, please.
a united force to be reckoned with alongside their coach Barbara.
Conti Macii組の得点
It was 73.41 for the team at Cup of China.
今シーズンの自己最高得点を更新しました。
73.69, and thus
The score for
they
Sara
are
Conti and Niccolò Macii is
in second place to
73.69.
Sui and Han,
See,
the Olympic
this is
champions,
season's best score, and they're
coming
currently in
in
second
strong
place.
at NHK Trophy. They opened the event and kept their lead from start to
以上
finish.
をもちましてペアショ
The
ートプログラム
Italians
の
just
競技を終
take
了いたし
stock of
ま
what
す
has happened. We won't like to see a second beside their name at this event. They were the heavy
次の
favourites.
男子シングルショートプログラムの
Still
競技は
probably put money on them taking the
16
title
時
here
15分より開
based
始いた
on
します
We will
their
now take a
experience
break
over
to
this Olympic
resurface
cycle.
the ice. The competition for
So their
men's short
confirmation
program will start at
of a
4:15
great event,
p.m.
but
Thank you.
really important to just continue to send our good wishes to Camille Kovalev and husband Pavel. I suspect a dislocated shoulder is what took place. We'll find out a little bit more about that. We really sincerely hope that Camille is okay and that she'll be able to get back on the circuit this season soon. Less than 2 points separate the top 3 in the pairs event. At this point in the Grand Prix series, it just throws into question now all the ramifications of the different results. Perhaps Sui and Han will do enough now to secure themselves a spot at the Grand Prix final, which I think, following what we saw from them at the Cup of China, would have been unlikely for them. Chinese nationals is very important for them to secure their spot at the Olympic Games. Just one entry for China in the pairs discipline at the Olympics. As we take a look back at Maria Pavlova and Alexei Sviatchenko, they were so brilliant here. They add an impressive near 3 points to their ISU personal best score with what they have delivered here. And even on the replay, you can see the improvement in their ice coverage, flow, and depth of edge within their step sequence. sit forward feature there, finishing the program for them.
どーもくんオンアイスのスタートです
Disappointed perhaps to find, well, definitely disappointed to find himself in second place after the short program. And maybe it was fingertip difference that is the reason he found himself in that place. The touchdown of the hand, or the landing of the throw, the only obvious mistake. But it is the Olympic champions who find themselves back on top. Sui and Han have obviously been inspired since the Cup of China to showcase big improvements, and not just technical prowess, but a little glimpse into what has made them so special in the previous Olympic cycle, an emotional sensitivity and performance ability that has made them such fan favourite and captivating stars. But the only mistake, the coordination for the bow at the end. So that concludes a very competitive pairs short programme at the NHK Trophy. The men's short programme is next, and that starts at 16:15 local time, as the crowd are entertained in the meantime. But you don't want to miss what's coming up. The likes of Yuma Kageyama set yet to compete on this first day of competition. I'm Mark Henretti, thank you for joining us, and make sure you come back for the men's and women's singles.